All right, welcome everybody to the MinnHax 2024 Dev Showcase number 2. We're going to be looking at the second half of the MinnHax 2024 submissions. Yesterday we looked at the first 7, and today we'll be looking at the other 6. Those games are going to be Cardionauts, Heart Defenders, EmojAdventure, Pulse Apart, Ice Cream Sundate, and the Orbital Games Preservation Museum and
Can you
Gallery.
hear me?
Yes, we got you. So, welcome to Resonatrium. We're actually going to be starting with your game, Pulse Apart. So, if you want to go ahead and unmute, we can pull this up here. Everyone seeing this, you should be able to click on me on Discord and tune into the stream and then be able to see what I am seeing. You will hopefully be able to hear it once the audio starts as well, especially for this one. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Welcome, Resonatrium. You want to, real quick, just talk about what you used to make this, maybe your experience with game jams, something like that? I think you're muted again now. All right, Resonatrium might be figuring out his mic, but we can go ahead and keep playing this. So we've got, what would we call this here? A rhythm-based soccer texting game. You're kind of sending these little messages back and forth. I'm hitting the letters on the keyboard that correspond to the letters here, and I'm doing it with, some sort of musical timing, or trying to. I don't know if those little scribbly glyphs are me doing well or me not doing well, but that's what we're getting so far. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Resonatrium made a rhythm game last year as well.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, great. I had to figure out my
Well,
microphone situation.
no worries.
Yeah, last year I
Welcome
did
on.
a rhythm game. And actually these character sprites are kind of an evolution of that. It was a kind of a 2D system last year, kind of like Flash. But this year I guess over the summer, I kind of I made them somewhat 2D. They're still kind of built from a 2D image, but with depth added in. So it's kind of fun to experiment with animating and modeling these new characters.
Yeah, they look super cool. I love the they almost look like old, like 90s, like digitized sprites, like Mortal Kombat, like going from 3D to 2D, or like a Donkey Kong Country or something. Um,
Definitely, they look very like PS2 era when I have them textured sort of in a more usual way. It kind of is a fun throwback. Yeah.
yeah, so what platform did you use for this year? I know last year you were on a pretty 2D centric platform, is that right?
It is still just basic WebGL in just JavaScript, but I did
Awesome.
experiment. Yeah, I used now 3D math and made it 3D. It's the same sort of basic shader languages though. This year I did focus more on trying to learn shaders than I did last year. And it's tough when you
Yeah,
don't have when you're not using a tool like Unity or whatever. There's no debug abilities that I
right.
could find.
Yeah, this is super cool. And I love the obviously the use of hearts and emojis and all of that. How did you come up with this, like, kind of texting sort of interface for it?
It was the story I wanted to create that I eventually kind of had to scrap due to time. It was going to be people who were like in a relationship texting, being apart, but I just I had to scrap it. But I did like the way it kind of felt like an arcade game in the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it reminds me of oh god, what is that game called? Florence is a
I never
an
played it.
indie it's an indie game. It had like text conversations as like part of gameplay, kind of.
Oh,
It wasn't rhythm based like this, but the way that it's kind of like abstracting text messages, I think, is similar and pretty cool.
yeah, I'll check it out.
Um, What were so you said you focus a lot on the shaders and kind of like the art of it this year. What were some other things that were different from last year, or easier or harder than last year?
I guess harder is just because I focused on WebGL. I try to dive deeper into WebGL. It is pretty tricky, and especially like the 3D math and stuff. I still had to hard to get my head around it all.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were saying, there probably isn't that much like documentation and support for making something like this in WebGL compared to, if you're making a Unity game or something, you can say, "Hey, I'm making a third-person shooter. How do I get the camera to work right?" And
Right.
there's
There's a lot of
45 tutorials
tutorials.
on YouTube. Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of tutorials for like a spinning cube, and from there it's you figure the rest out yourself.
right. Yeah, this is super cool. I'm sure I'm not doing it justice while talking while playing, but
Oh,
um,
I made it on purpose very forgiving. You're not
sure,
timed
I
out of anything.
I appreciate that. No, that's
Yeah.
perfect for me right now. Uh, awesome. I also love obviously the incorporation of the theme. For anyone who missed it, the theme this year was just the heart emoji on its own to be interpreted kind of however you saw fit, and a lot of people obviously had pretty different interpretations of that.
So,
So if
yeah,
I was
what I want to
doing,
do
sorry, go ahead.
next, the kind of where I want to take this next is just like last year. I wanted to make a way for me to try to learn piano. So I do plan to still make it interface with like a MIDI keyboard.
Right, I
I'm gonna
remember you
like
ended
I
up
think I'm
adding that to your game from last year, right?
I did, yeah. So I'm gonna keep the same gameplay, but like rotate the phone landscape mode and render the notes. That's like a winter project.
Very cool. Let's finish out this last one here. So if I was doing this better, would this be a song that people would recognize? Is that
No,
the
it's
idea?
all randomized.
Okay,
Everything's
okay,
randomized.
gotcha. I wasn't sure. Just at the bottom, it's saying public domain song. I was like, oh no, am I doing so bad that this is supposed to be? Is this like the God, that piano stream where Hanson was trying to play? Was it Happy Birthday and Janet couldn't figure it out? All right. Very cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Really cool seeing your progression of games from one year to the next. That's a super fun part of this whole last couple of years of MinnHax. So I hope to
Yeah,
see you
maybe I'll
again
be
next year.
full 3D next year.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Full 3D, and you're gonna ship everyone a keyboard so they can try out the keyboard controls at home.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. I believe we are going to move on to our next game here. So if you all want to switch over, LemonLimeBitta is going to be hosting the next one streaming wise, so you can switch over to that view. And it hasn't popped in for me yet, but we'll give it a second here. All right, we're seeing just kind of your general window here, not a specific game.
It's live on my end if it's not coming through.
So we're seeing it, but it's Discord and my stream. So I don't know. Oh, okay. Seeing something now.
Take to work off this laptop. Anyway, I'll start in, and if you guys can see anything, I'll try and work that out as we go along. But what we're looking at here was Cardionauts. Yeah, cool. All right, so looking at Cardionauts. So, we got anyone in the chat here on mic?
I think I see a couple.
Hello.
Yeah, perfect.
Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
So this was the first one. I think it pops up first in the Game Jam each page, and it was the first one I tried, and I was absolutely blown away by this one.
Yeah,
even
I
just
have
like
to
the
say,
landing page here.
Yeah, I was slightly annoyed as someone who was trying to, crunch things in at the last second to see this one not only looking this good, but submitted as early as it was. Like, plenty of time. We polished it. We have all this extra art and stuff. Very, very jealous of that.
I'm not convinced that this team isn't just in the same house or working together 24/7. Because and I started with the art, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's like some of the best art I've seen in the Game Jam." And then everything else just sort of kept going. So that I'm not sure if we can see the screen there. We even have a bit of a story going. So cool. Yeah, even like the art, the SFX, the music, the design.
Yeah, for the developers here, if you want to just quickly go through what you worked on for the project, what tools you used, platform, things like that.
Sure, I'll go real quick. So I worked on music for this game. Shmoolian, I think, is who did all of the art, and it was like super duper cool to see all that come through. And then goosowen and Jimothy were on mostly the development side of things. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that part.
Yeah, no, it was super cool to work with a team. Like, yeah, I think we had the work split out really nicely, and like, Shmoolian with the art and you with the music, Mike, like super professional, like level, like really good. And yeah, Jimothy and I doing the programming, and we were on very different time zones, so we could we never had any merge conflicts or anything. We could just work in tandem. Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Where sometimes different time zones can be a blessing and a curse. You know, if you're trying to get everyone together to talk about stuff at the same time, it can be difficult. But if you want people to work on stuff separately, and like you said, not have merge conflicts and be able to submit all their stuff, then it can actually work out pretty well.
Right. Yeah. It seemed like we were always just on the same page without having to talk too much about it. So, yeah.
It's funny. I feel like different people had like bursts of like creative energy at different times. So like the art comes through and like that helps spark other people to get excited. And like I know that like I feel like I made the music in this in like 3 or 4 individual little bursts. I didn't not like I worked on it for a month straight, and I doubt that the others did either, but like one person would like push a bunch of code and then somebody else would come in like the next week with like a huge addition to that. So and it would like last year I did a game on my own, and it was like obviously a lot to do all at once. And so like the difference working with like a team of people that were all pretty motivated was really crazy. It made it feel really special.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys tell us about the how'd you get the which came first with the syncing of the music and the art and everything? Because it's all pretty cohesive, which is pretty rare for a game jam, and then also for being in different time zones. And
so I think the concept, we kind of had like a quick poll that we ran in our chat for like types of games to do, and I can't remember who came up with the idea first, but somebody was like, oh, why don't we do like a rhythm shooter? And we're like defending a heart. And I think that, I don't know if we had a whole lot of other ideas that were good, so I think we just went with it. And so I feel like then there was kind of like, we were able to kind of separate out the kind of things that we needed to do, like Shmoolian with the artwork, but like I know like Jimothy and goosowen also like just kind of got right into creating like the grid and kind of how the whole game moves along with the kind of like rhythm shooting. And after getting that together, that was like at least the kind of step that got everything to work together a bit.
Yeah, the polish on all of this, and just like LemonLime was saying, just the way it all fits together is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm playing the different level. You guys managed to get 2 levels done, which is ridiculous. With like, this is level 1. I did level 2 first, which is why I probably died. But like, I'm trying to demonstrate like the parallax going on in the background here, the pulsing animation of the thing down here in the bottom. Just everything. It's ridiculous. Right?
So, I think 2 levels was also a nice thing to split up. So like I did level 2 mostly, and Jimothy did level 1, so we could kind of be creative on our own, in levels.
Yeah, right. So you did that at the start. You started with 2 levels, didn't have extra time, and then decided to extend.
Yeah.
So there was like a phase of time where it was like we were changing around in like that Jimothy and goosowen really were changing around like the way that the kind of like shooting and mechanics worked. But what was fun is that like when I made the first song and we kind of had like a placeholder one of the right BPM in there. But as soon as I made another one with a different amount, like a different tempo to it, you could basically swap the songs out and then the game would move differently already. So like already the two levels would feel different. And then from there, like the two of them set about more like customizing the levels, like the choreographing, like what actual enemies show up when, and introducing some different mechanics in that way.
Yeah, because you can tell that like the as this track builds, the difficulty builds as well, which is like, I don't know, it just looks so cohesive, and I'm dedicated. Awesome.
With as polished as this is and everything that's in it, is there anything that you guys did have to cut that you wanted to make it in and didn't quite make it?
I think we were all like really happy with how it turned out, and I was thinking it would be fun to have an ending cutscene if you win, as a little treat. But yeah, I didn't get around to that. But yeah, nothing major.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could reasonably ask for more than this in a video game.
I think that would just be greedy at that point.
Yeah, like there are certainly, I know that in particular, like goosowen and Jimothy had a ton of ideas, like throwing back and forth around like more like mechanics you could add in, and like we kind of had, because I think you guys ended up adding like a separate ship basically for the different level. Like they control slightly different. You like switch some parameters around, and I feel like the eventual version of that might be more of like a system that applies to multiple levels. But for this, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll just put it in 2 different levels and that works fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as much as we'd all like to keep looking at this one, we are gonna have to move on to some other games here. But awesome job. Hope to see you guys again next year, working on some more cool stuff. That was super well done. Next, we are going to be looking at Heart Defenders. So let me pull that up and make sure. Oh, and it is launching in the wrong monitor. 1 second. Apologies. Let's try again. But if it keeps launching there, I might just have to switch the window real quick. Give me 1 second. And let's switch to this. Everyone should now be seeing Heart Defenders. Is that true?
Yep, we got it.
All right. And we definitely have at least one of the developers for Heart Defenders, because it is LemonLimeBitta of MinnHax organizer fame.
Yeah, we got a few. We got Evan and Joe.
Hey, what's up?
Shifty as well. We got the whole team.
All right. Very cool. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to make sure I have the audio sorted. All right. So I popped this open earlier and it looked a little complex. I'm going to do my best to pay attention to it and ask meaningful questions. But real quick, if you guys just want to run down who worked on what the project was like.
Yeah, sure. Does anyone else want to jump in? I'll start talking and then you guys jump in over top of me and take it away. But effectively, we had 2 programmers. That's me and Chicken. And then Joe working on art. And then we had Shifty Disco working on the SFX and the music as well. So we kind of we started pretty early knowing we wanted to make some sort of a card game just off the Hearts idea. And then it sort of just evolved. It was evolving up until pretty much the day before we shipped. So it was the design was sort of very iterative, which was cool. But Joe, do you have a microphone? Do you want to jump in and talk a bit about the art? Because I was loving the stuff you did here. With
I love this guy in the background. He is so cool.
If you can finish, you might get a little surprised about who it really is too.
Oh, all right. I hope it's Jeff.
Yeah, I worked on the sort of the upgrade system and the attack system, where if you hit those plus signs on the card, if you have enough money earned by the tricks, you can upgrade a card, or you can buy a new defender. And it was we were building the plane as we were flying it with this. We had a couple different systems that we put together, and you'll notice a bug that we caught 10 minutes before the deadline, where you'll see the attacks stack against you as the game goes on with no animation.
Okay. So here, am I just ending here because I don't have a valid trick to play? Is that?
You can pay the player a pair of queens.
Oh, okay. Just without extra stuff? Is that? Got it.
Yeah.
I was going by the Loftro logic of also wanting to get rid of cards while I'm doing it.
Yeah, I downloaded a Loftro on mobile.
That's dangerous.
For developing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I actually took help.
So what you want to do is you got $15. You can go ahead and start upgrading your cards if you'd like.
And that's the pluses here. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And some sort of trade-off between upgrading the ones I have versus adding new ones?
Well, you want to select them so they are lined up for your defense.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. And then let it fly. All right. R.I.P. to that heart. Yeah, this is super cool and in depth for, the scope of just doing something in a month like this. I think to go with something this mechanically heavy is bold, but is paying off because I'm actually doing my best here to figure out what I'm doing and play this right, but not my best. Does it have to be 5 for straight? I guess I could.
Yeah, 5 straight. There's the hand rules were pretty muddy because I was sort of just making up a lot of hand rules as we go.
Yeah, I noticed that there were some extra non-poker ones, which I like. That's cool. Let's.
We cycled through like maybe doing rummy or kind of did a mix of a bunch of stuff.
Bit hard to hear you, Shifty.
Let's try. See if we can finish out this straight, maybe. Not looking great. Can just turn these in, I guess. Alright. Sorry, I'm not being the most interesting here as I try to think this through, but it's very cool. Very invested in trying to see this special surprise at the end that I was promised. Oh, I guess I already played my 3, right? So now we're just... Let's go here. Sure.
Maybe
All right.
survive 15 turns, you win the game.
Oh man, okay. We'll see if I can speed this up a little bit. So, what platform did you guys use to build this in?
We use Unity.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, the Unity and Git was a savior. We had a couple of merges that we were all working in the scene together, which was fun to try to deconflict the scene merges. But it was a good sign that as we were making it, like when we were doing a bit of play testing and stuff, like I would get like a royal flush or something or a straight and be excited about it and post it in the Discord. So it was like you could sort of like Balacha, like you get excited, like when you're turning away cards here and hoping that you might get this straight or something, you sort of get a bit of endorphins. There you go. You got to so get 2 pair.
Not
And you can
bad.
start to really rack up some cash.
Oh yeah, we got a decent amount now, huh?
Yeah.
So the health on each one here is like against the damage that he's doing. So like when he does the little sword attack with the 4, that would go through 4 of these shields. Okay.
It's like a combination of risk and Magic the Gathering. Like he has to surpass your rank.
Gotcha.
The damage to heart, and his attacks get stronger every couple turns.
Oh, now he's got a double attack. All right.
Yeah, and that's the animation stacking bug. You should see it. Normally preferably you'd be able to see each one of those. And yeah, I just want to shout out Lemon. Did a great job with getting the juice with the cards, feeling good when you're playing them. And Shifty, I'm not sure if there's something wrong with her audio, but she did a great job with the audio and the sound effects.
Yeah, it all works together really well. This feels very polished and like a complete idea, which is very cool to see in a short-ish game jam. I mean, a month-long one is longer than some, but I really like. I'm a little biased as the organizer, but I really like the month-long period to kind of spread things out a little bit. Like we talked about with one of the other games, it's nice to have like, oh, this week I'm really busy, but the next week I have a lot of time and I can, pull my weight a little more in the next one. And I think that's a nice push and pull that doesn't feel like you're just crunching in like one weekend or 1 week or whatever.
I'm really curious how this was from a coding perspective. Was it complicated to code out all these mechanics with the cards, or was the main challenge the game design of the mechanics themselves?
From my end, the coding of the card values was pretty complicated, much more than I thought it was going to be. But I think we ended up getting it done there. It was funny working, like me and Chicken sort of have different sort of paradigms on how we code. So because it's almost below the gate was what I worked on, and above the gate was what Chicken worked on. And so when we sort of merged our code together, it was that was where the big challenges came from. So we're trying to like make sure we had the interfaces working together. But
that can be tricky when you try to.
UI.
That can be tricky when you're trying to combine multiple things from different sources like that. But I think this comes together really well. All right. Do I have to buy these guys before? Is that what I did wrong last time? I think it is.
As long as you do it before he starts. You can only have 5 in play at once.
Gotcha. Okay. Do this, and then I'm gonna actually use them to block this time. I'm pretty sure last time I just hit go. All right. I love the variety too with the submissions this year in terms of like some slower pace, kind of thinking, puzzly sort of games versus some faster, actiony, shooter, whatever sort of games. I think we have a pretty nice spread, which is fun. Oh man, I would have loved a jack there.
I like how the game submissions kind of mimic the popular indie games of the year.
Yeah, totally. They're like Vampire Survivors inspired, Balatro inspired. That's a good point.
Something that doesn't get explained very well because we had a limited amount of time, but it's in the rulebook. If you get one of the cards to level 10 and you sacrifice a face card, you can
that was like
turn it into
super
a super
defenders,
defender, which gives a little buffer. A concept we threw in, I threw in there but it was pretty late in the development cycle. But yeah, there's alternative win states. If you get 3 super defenders in play, like you see in the UI in the upper left, each one of those, you'll win the game. Try to
gotcha.
come up with new different strategies there.
All right, as good as we're getting. You can't do a full house.
Full
right?
house.
I'm just getting trip queens.
Oh, that's. Did we not put
Yeah,
in full
just
house?
no full house.
My bad.
I don't. Yeah, Super Defender is gonna be tough. Let's just get these back up.
The other thing you can do
yep.
to get to an end state is just put in one low level card and take enough damage that you lose, and you'll see it at an end state as well. If we want to go wrong.
Yeah. Let's. I do wanna. I'm gonna go back and play a full 15 later, but just for the sake of moving the stream along here, that might be so. Just
go done, and then put that 3 up, and then
Gotcha.
that guy.
Well, you don't even need to put a 3 up. You can just take the damage.
Oh yeah, that's true.
With the face.
Game over. With a broken heart. You hate to see it. All right. Thanks so much, guys. This was super cool. Sorry I was focusing so much on actually trying to play it, but I'm definitely going to go back and see if I can get a full 15 later. Good reminder, too, anyone tuning in on the Jam page on itch, you can download or play all of these in browser over there. So if you want to try any of them for yourself, those are available. I think it's just itch.io/MinnHax-2024, something like that. But you should be able to find it on the Discord or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. All right, so we're kind of jumping around in the order here, but Lemon Lime, if you want to pull up EmojAdventure, we can do that one next.
Yeah, sure thing. While it's booting, I'll use my organizer privileges to show you the GIF of the end screen for our game there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
A little bit of
I knew it. I knew it was him.
Just had to make sure we had Jeffem's in the credits there. In the first game for MinnHax, I credited Jeffem, I think you like that, so I had to get that in there again.
Love it.
Cool.
Perfect. All right.
Did that boot?
I don't know. What kind of idiot designed this game?
Here we go.
There we go.
No, we're good.
So this is my game, EmojAdventure. You can skip the let's just skip the Twitch chat authentication part. That's a whole other can of worms, but there is you can hook up a Twitch channel there and the chat will appear somewhere in game, and I did some Twitch chat commands. Just it's really not relevant. It's just kind of a little Easter eggy sort of thing, but all right. We are now seeing EmojAdventure. It's a little choppy, but we'll see if it stabilizes in a second here. Yeah, stream's not doing great. Might need to audible here and just have me host this one. It's pretty frozen on my end. I don't know if everyone else is seeing it, but
yeah, it's not showing for me either.
All right, I'll go ahead and pull this one up and just pretend like I don't know how to play it. 1 second. All right, sorry about this. I think just maybe some internet issues over there in Australia. All right, let me... Okay, Windows is protecting me from running this unknown game that I made. All right. Let's just get this background up here. All right. Should be seeing it on my stream now. And let's go ahead and hop in. So this is my game that I made called EmojAdventure, as in emoji and adventure. It is a weird little... that's too loud. weird little wander around and get items game. It's kind of like almost a trading up game in like a God, what's the Zelda that's the one that they remade on Switch? Someone help. The Link's Awakening. Almost in like a Link's Awakening sense, where you're getting items and using those items to get different items and using those items to get different items. Every art asset in the game is an emoji. Almost all of them are from the iOS emoji list, specifically. There are a couple where I had to cheat and put a different one in just because I didn't like how the iOS one looked or because it didn't fit for whatever reason. But it's basically just this mini little open area, and you're wandering around, interacting with things, getting items. Some of the items you can use, and they'll do a thing, like this volleyball. You can throw it at things and try to knock things down. The sunglasses, we can't really immediately tell what they're for, so you have to kind of walk around and see what you might be able to do with them. Like if you come across 3 cool dudes dancing in their sunglasses and one guy really sad that he doesn't have sunglasses, then you can bring over the sunglasses, and now he's a chill dude also, and he rewards you with a little ID card. So we'll use that at some other point later. Oh, okay. The kids at the playground have created a poop emoji. We can use that for sure. Oh, great. So there's some weird little systems and stuff. Like the kids, and if you find animals and stuff, will occasionally poop. We might get to it later. There's some fire simulation and stuff like that. Let's just go ahead and clear this crowd real quick by doing that, and then we're rewarded with a little glass bottle here, which we might find something to do with later. But this is basically it. You walk around, and this is where Twitch chat would be if we had hooked it up. This nerd back here in the suburbs runs Twitch chat, and I did actually I hooked it up so if you do commands in the Twitch chat for specific emojis, you can spawn those emojis in game for this player. Don't have it hooked up right now because we have enough tech issues tonight as is. Let's go ahead and smush this spider with a volleyball. Get some string. And yeah, I'm just kind of talking through my own game here, but if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to hop in, and I'm happy to answer. Let's go ahead and...
Yeah, John, the interactions are crazy. Like it looks simple when you start it, but it's clearly like, I'm thinking about how you're coding this. What was the sort of design pattern you're using to have all these interactions? Are they all just their own specific hard-coded thing, or do you have like a architecture that's sort of supporting combinations of different items? Or
it's a little bit of both. In terms of like quote-unquote NPCs or like interactable items in the world, they all have just a giant script on them called reactive object, and reactive object has a bunch of checkboxes for like, hey, should this item or character be flammable? Should this item or character eat food? Should this item or character leave poop on the ground every once in a while? And then I'm kind of, to create little characters, I'm, checking boxes on and off for like, well, obviously a rat should be attracted to food, flammable, should leave poop, and should run in a circle, like this rat here. Or, a person should be disgusted by poop and move away from it, and flammable, or whatever. And I'm just kind of combining those little tags I've made to create different little characters and stuff. So we've fallen down a hole here. Kind of have to use the flashlight, which I don't know if anyone else finds it funny. It really tickles me that all the items you use, you just kind of hold out in front of you and they do the thing. Like, you don't have to aim the flashlight. You're just holding the flashlight in your hands and you're good to go. So let's take our little sushi portal here just to escape the underground. And oh, would you look at that? Another thing for a volleyball. And it's the same with like, these things to be knocked down, they're coded as, I think the bool I put in there is like squishable, meaning they can be hit by the volleyball and something will happen. There's another script that you put on basically like a lock and key. So this sunglasses guy is coded as a lock and key, where he has a lock that is looking for the sunglasses, and then that, triggers some event to happen. So it's a lot of weird little systems and things. Let's go. I'm trying to move at a medium pace here. We combined the string with a little hook there to make a fishing pole. We can try to catch a fish if we're good. There's also a couple different paths through the game. There's kind of a variety of ways to get through any given thing. There are a couple items that are required to finish it, but then there's a couple branches at some points where you can do one thing or a different thing. So we traded in this fish to get a coin. I'm gonna wait till that pig's out of the way and then chop some corn, get some popcorn. So once we have food like this, that's another one where a lot of the animals and things are coded to be attracted to food if you drop it on the ground. So they'll like run over to the food and do something. In this case, we're going to use this popcorn here to distract an alligator so we can sneak past and get a frog. You know, just video game stuff. And then
it's
go ahead.
Sorry, it's crazy. I might just be not privy to the emoji game development scene, but I've never seen anything like this before. How'd you know? And you were like, the first 6 hours of the game jam, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty much done. I was like, what is this? And where does it come from? And
all right, well, to be fair, maybe some slight amount of cheating there when you're the person who comes up with the idea for the theme of the game jam and you already have half of an idea of what kind of game you want to make. That gives you a slight head start in terms of the kind of game. Here we're going to give a little coin to this Zeus or generic lightning god temple, and he's going to bless us with lightning, of course. So now we have this to do something with. This is a fun one. You can actually catch this butterfly in a jar. And fun fact, this doesn't do anything. This is just a butterfly that you have now, which I think is fun. But if you waste your jar on a butterfly, don't come at me.
I don't know how old you are, but this reminds me of the Secret Island of Dr. Quandary. Like
no, not familiar.
Game that was in like every school computer in the 90s.
I'll have to check it out. Is it also entirely emoji based in the 90s? No,
but it has an abstract like fever dream quality to it. If you were in like elementary school in 1993,
sure,
you would have played it.
Fever Dream is definitely part of what I was going for. So here we have our little alien friend. He's obviously looking to power up his ship, so good thing we got lightning from Zeus. We can power up his ship and be given a cool laser gun. And let's go for the real moneymaker here, which is if we climb out of here with this ladder. So I think maybe the coolest thing that I put in here is some fire simulation. That took me a good couple of days of the 30 days. Using, of course, the fire emoji, but it actually kind of spreads. You know, from where I shot one tree, the fire spreads, and if it hits other trees, it'll spread from there and create this whole mess over here. Oh, shoot, we put it too close to the wizard's house, too. That house is not going to be standing after this, I don't think, because I believe the house is also flammable. But, hey, it's also a good way to get to the wizard's house, because you can't get there without either chopping trees with the axe or burning down the entire forest. An example of kind of the alternate paths too, if we didn't, let's just run through the fire, grab some wood real quick. If we didn't use the frog to get over to that little alien zone, oh, this is getting out of hand. If we didn't use the frog to get to that little alien section over here, you can also visit the construction worker over here and give a bunch of wood and build a ladder. So this is another way to get in here that isn't using the frog. But that's pretty much it. There's other paths, but let's go ahead and keep running into the ladder. Let's just go to where we're supposed to go to finish this thing out, so we can get to the rest of the games tonight. Flashlight. At some point in development, I thought it, like halfway through, I thought it would be really cool to turn it into like a Skyrim style thing where you have one object in each hand and you can go like flashlight and whatever. But I didn't really want to redo everything halfway through, so kept it as is. But maybe EmojAdventure 2, we can get the dual wielding going. All right, so here we find this target over here. Shoot it with the gun and get an engagement ring. Does anyone have a guess what you do with an engagement ring in this game?
Gotta get some love.
That's right. So
You
this
an
is
alien?
you can totally pick the alien. This is what I had referred to before. If people had asked of this game having quote unquote like 15 endings. You can marry anyone you want, basically. You can marry this construction worker, the farmer over there, any of the sunglasses guys, any of the parents over here. Not the kids, for obvious reasons. You can marry this alligator, which is pretty funny. It puts, like, the little bride emoji over the alligator's face. My favorite, though, is marrying the fairy. So give the fairy the engagement ring. She gives you back love. And then... now that you have this heart, you can use the heart item, and you have completed the game. So that's pretty much it here. If anyone has any questions... Actually, I don't think I've tried this. Can you just keep using this to keep... I feel like I usually stop after marrying one person. Oh, you totally can. Marry everybody.
Polygamy.
Yeah, we gotta go marry the alien then, if we're here. And then we'll end on... the alligator with the bride emoji over its face, because that one's fun. He became a human through the power of love. Wow, it's so much easier to get over here without the forest here. Another optional way to do things, so another way to get lightning, besides the way we did with the temple, is you can... if we got here before burning it down, the wizard has a little sign that says, like, he hates fairies. And if you capture the fairy in the jar, bring him the fairy, he casts a spell and gives you lightning. So that's kind of an alternate way. But if you're going to marry the fairy, obviously you lock yourself out of that ending if you turn her into the wizard, so. Alright, and there we go. We have our bride alligator over here, and we'll go ahead and end on that. So, I think our next game then is Ice Cream Sundate. And I can just keep pulling them up here. Or if you think it's working, we can hop back to yours. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, give me a crack at it. Let's see how we go here. All right. The developer for this one's a solo dev, I think.
Yes, no. I believe this is. Let me pull it up real quick. This is jmagrippis.
You in the stream, Jay?
Yes, I am seeing it.
Cool. Yeah, I played this one a little bit as well after the cutoff date. And it's like, at first I was frustrated by how slidey the player is. And then I was like, I died a couple of times, and then like just kept coming back and back and back. I was like, oh, I get it. It's like a kind of, by making it a little bit difficult to move around, it gets I don't know, you feel like you're going to master it. And I'm getting pretty good at it now because I played it until like I leveled up quite a lot. Oh, look at that.
So these little Pac-Man ghost guys are trying to stop you from being a good ice cream deliverer.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. I got to bring it back to the customers over here.
Oh wow, looks like controller support too, based on the tutorials there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to be. We're not getting any audio from you though.
Oh, that's because I muted it earlier.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah, the art on this is really nice too. It's really cohesive. Like all of it seems to go together, like even down to the UI and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't believe we have Go ahead.
What did he say? Who's the developer again?
jmagrippis is the itch name. I was gonna say I don't think they're here today, but I remember them posting updates all throughout the month, which was cool to see. And I think they were actually streaming themselves while developing, which is always cool to see.
Yeah,
Very stressful, in my opinion, to watch. I don't want anyone to watch me code. I don't want anyone to see how anything works that I've made personally. But good on them for sharing the love, letting people into
I can't even
development secrets.
I can't even press WASD and not talk at the same time. So I don't know how I would manage coding and doing it.
Right.
Here we go. There we go. I got upgrades. Hey, there's some good
wow.
upgrades here as well.
Yeah, just like even like the menu text and everything here is so well done.
Yeah, for sure. And they sort of replenish the ice cream as well as we come back. There we go.
This is another. The theme this year is really like games where you have an action phase and then like an upgrade phase. Like, what is it, like 4 or 5 of them kind of fall into that, like kind of back and forth two-phased thing, which is interesting.
I've got a weird bug where I can't navigate the menu. Weird. Or make any selections.
Uh-oh. Maybe we'll just refresh the page at the top. And I don't remember what platform this was made in. Off the top of my head, it looks pretty Game Maker to me, just in terms of like the 2D sprites and all of that. But also Game Maker can look like anything. Oh, Godot, there you go. Very cool.
Godot, there we go.
We had a couple of Godot games this year. I think last year the jam was like a month after all of the Unity pricing changes announcements. So last year we had a lot of Godot entries of people being like, maybe it is time to pick up some new skills. And then this year a couple people sticking with it, which is cool. I still have not dabbled just because my day job is Unity, so I have just stuck with that for the most part. All right, well, very cool. With Ice Cream Sundate here, and we'll have to dig in. I think in the dev channel, this developer shared their stream and all of that. If you want to check out more of their dev work on stream, which is super cool. So I believe that has been 5 so far. Is that right, or is that 4 games? I believe that's 5. So our big finale is going to be the Orbital Games Preservation Museum and Gallery. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I believe that is that is last year. Very, very good and smart of me. I was scrolling through like, where is it? All right. Orbital Games Preservation Museum and Gallery. And this is developed by richardhayes. Do we have a richardhayes?
Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Welcome to the stream. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the process of making this? Tools you used, things like that?
Yeah, this is, so I used Godot. And actually, I was just thinking about, I was trying to remember, why did I decide on like a 3D game and decide on this game? And I think I got it down to the fact that I think it started with I wanted to embed the 2D game that I made last year into something. And then I thought, that basically that would be cool if it was a 3D game that I embed my last year's like 2D game into. And so then I think that was like the seed of the idea why I chose like a 3D game. And then I was like, well, I need an excuse to have like a game inside of another game. And then I came up with like, okay, it's going to be kind of like a museum art gallery, and the old game from last year will be like a piece in the gallery. And then I needed like other rooms, and it sort of grew from there, I think. But yeah, I was sort of working back in my mind about why did I come. Oh yeah, and then I guess I learned a lot about shaders in this project, and that was I sort of realized once I chose like 3D Godot, and I'm not like a great like deliberate artist. and I've always been fascinated with shaders. I never really learned about them, but then I started learning about them, and it was like a good way to like cover all the walls and everything with texture.
Of the Grand Canyon, which adds another 2,000 meters.
Yeah,
so that's why
it has a very distinctive look
Please
to
use
it.
the bags near your seat if you're feeling nauseous.
And sorry, remind me, what was your?
We are now docking at the museum.
What was your game you worked on last year?
And enjoy your visit.
That was walking simulator.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. And the reason why I wanted to embed that into this so much is because then I can add like another simulator, because the game as it's embedded here is technically like a walking simulator.
Very cool.
I guess throughout I was wondering like throughout this I guess you'll hear my voice like talking as like the audio sort of, there's a lot of like audio dialogue embedded in this game, and that was one thing that I sort of did, but it's not great for like the like if you're streaming a game or like showing off a game and talking during it, it makes it hard if there's like talking audio in the game. Sure. But that was sort of I just maybe I would have gone with like text boxes or something, but that's like kind of more technically harder. Like then just playing audio clips is like the easiest way to like tell the player like directly what they should do or
yeah, totally. Especially I mean in a museum you kind of want them to walk you through it.
Unlike my great grand orb, I can talk. That's how I can assure you I won't go evil. Haha. Follow me to the next room to start the tour.
Yeah, and the stuff like the camera that you're taking photos with, that was also I guess in this jam I really wanted to learn a lot of stuff. And so when I thought, like how do you make like a camera in a game that the player's holding, and what, like can you make a little photos that like could the camera take photos and then the photos can be displayed somewhere? And then it's funny that they just like eject onto the floor, because once I learned the whole concept of like how do you make a camera and photos, and then I just sort of like had no motivation to like do anything with the photos other than have them like fly out onto the floor.
I think it's also the addition of the camera really helps with like the museum feel. Like it feels like you're walking through and like, oh, this one's nice, let me take a picture. Like it all works together pretty well.
Yeah, that's something that I kind of love that it isn't part of the mechanics of the game. It's just something that makes the museum feel more immersive.
Yeah, it seems like with like I guess at its core, this game is like a walking simulator like style, and I find that like whenever people play walking simulators, they always want like something to do, or I find that with games, like it's not enough for a game to be like an interesting environment. There needs to be some kind of like thing that you can be a little bit distracted with, and so I was happy that the camera kind of provides that. The player has more incentive to like look at things, because then maybe they could take a photo, even though
totally.
I suppose if there was like something to do with the photos, that would be more of like a complete
now were
idea.
these three pedestal issues, are these your personal favorites? Or
they're like the things that are like I like Mega Man Battle Network. That's not necessarily what that one's about, but like there's I sort of like Mega Man via Mega Man Battle Network, and then I like Halo and I like Splinter Cell. I don't have very like deep game interests other than like the main, like most of AAA games I've tried at least, and then like a few of them I play like a lot.
This VR issue of Game Informer I actually have signed by a bunch of Game Informer people from winning an old email thing probably
in order to sustain
8 years ago
during long streams. Content creators would consume small sculptures made from butter, which they called.
Yeah, one of the things that I was pushing for when we were planning was the Game Informer like tribute, which I think you've done a really good job here as well.
Yeah, that was one of the side quests, was making a game that is some sort of tribute to Game Informer.
Expanded to cover 40% of
and that was a lot of stuff for me is like motivated by technical stuff. Like I wanted to see like, can I get a digital photo of every issue, and can I wrap it around a 3D object and get them all in? That was like a question I had of like, is that doable? I figured out,
I was thinking you could
This
say
painting is
that
an
it was
artist's
deliberate to put the
interpretation
photos
of a
injected on the
scene
ground
from
there.
a
It's like
popular
social
video
commentary that we
game
go to a
that
museum and
simulates
just take
walking.
1,000 photos and never
I
look at them
personally
again.
find walking very
Yeah.
strange and cumbersome. Nevertheless,
There
I'm
you
proud
go.
to report that this museum has a fully working version of this arcade game, which can be viewed and played.
Yeah, I was thinking of the phrase too, like people say,
Meet me at the
like
door when you're ready to
like take
continue.
only photos, leave only footprints. But in this, I was trying to figure out a way to spin that phrase into like leave only photos.
Yeah, that's good.
And-
Oh, here we go. Mini game
No way!
time.
Look at this.
This
Look at
arcade
this.
cabinet was donated to the museum by an anonymous gamer from their private collection. It dates back to MinnHax in 2023, which was over 6,000 years ago. Walking Simulator
I'm expecting to see
was
this
very
game in
popular
next year's
its
jam
time.
with this game in
Fans
it as
would
well.
often dress up
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
we
characters from
need
the
to just
game
keep adding
and act out
layers.
scenes while walking along the
that was
Mississippi.
in a technical
This
issue that I
copy
ran into
contains
is
the
that
full
like
game, which
even
takes
an empty
15
Godot
minutes to
project,
play.
if you export it to
I'll
the
wait
web,
by
is
the
like
door when
60
you're ready to
megabytes,
continue
which is
the
kind of
tour.
like large, even for an empty project. So then anything you put in the game on top of that grows in size. So then that's kind of the limitation, is like just a size thing for the memory footprint of the project, which is not so bad on as like a desktop executable. But then I want things to be like in the web. So actually, like after this, after realizing like Godot web games are 60 megabytes in size, I started looking at this other library called like 3JS, which is not like a full game engine. It's just like it can do 3D stuff in the browser, but it's only like 1 megabyte in size, and that's kind of appealing to me. But it would be harder to make a game with it. But it would be cool if the game was just super lightweight and loaded fast and everything.
Have come to believe that this
Yeah, it's also
power
it's
is
just
our
cool to
universe.
see
And when it falls,
so directly compared your game from last year and then this one, and just like the progression of, you know, different skills and how different it looks and all of that, I think is awesome. 'Cause correct me if I'm wrong, before last year you hadn't done too much in terms of game jams or dev
I'm
stuff,
Richard,
right?
and I welcome you.
Yeah, maybe
Beginner's
I have a
Guide.
couple of things like on my
In the
itch.io
21st
previous
century, a
games.
game called
I guess they're
Beginner's
all
Guide was
as
released
well like
to
different
polarize reviews.
ideas. I
A
find
few
it's
decades
like
earlier, in the
once
20th
I
century, Jeffem was
once I've
released
done
to
like a
polarize
certain
reviews.
style of game, it's very hard to like go back and do like a better version. I end up just picking like something I haven't done before as like a motivation to like
The
learn
sign is
something new.
supposed to say,
But then
"Whisper
so then like
machine
everything I
cockpit."
do is like my first
I'll come
attempt,
back
and
to this
then
later.
I
Beginner's
move on to
Guide.
do something
The
I've never
narrator
done, and
Davey
which
challenges the
yeah,
player
I'm not
to
very good at
continue to
like
understand someone
growing
named
my
Cody
skill
through
in one
exploring the
category
spaces
and
in
like
the game.
perfecting it. I
In
just
the beginner's Jeffem,
I mean,
a
I
challenge
think
the
that's
stuff and
player to
then move on.
understand
I think
the
that's a
game
really good
by
use
looking
of
at
game
images
jams
of
too,
Jeffem.
though, is to just make
Your gun
something
actually
completely
shoots tiny
different
Jeffem
and
heads, but
try
you probably can't see them.
to pick up some new
This will
skills
be
and
important
try
though.
different stuff.
If the beginner's
I
guide
think
can
that's
be
definitely
seen as a
still valuable.
commentary on the relationship between game developers and players.
yeah, the
then
like the
Beginner's
next
Jeffem
move for me, I
is
want to
a
learn more about
commentary
like
on the
online
relationship between
multiplayer,
players
like
and Jeffem heads. In
uh
the beginner's guide,
sort of
Davey
like I know a bit
theorizes
about that, but
that
then when it
maybe
gets to
enemies
games,
were
it's very
supposed to
like
emerge
technically
from the jungle,
challenging to get like
but instead
multiplayer
nothing
functionality
happens,
to like
leaving the
work
player with a
well
gun
seamlessly
but
for
nothing to
everybody.
shoot.
And
In the
It's
yeah,
beginner's
pretty
guide,
easy to
but
get
I
it up
think
and running and pretty
emerge
hard to
from
get
the
it feeling
jungle.
good, is my experience.
yeah. But then I was
This may
thinking at the
seem
beginning of
silly
this
that
jam,
adding
I
large
really
Jeffem
wanted to
heads
add
guide
some
to
kind
tiny
of
Jeffem heads,
multiplayer thing into
but
this
this
game,
will
which I
actually
never
become a recurring
had like the
theme in
time
the
to do.
remainder of the museum.
But that's an
So
idea for like a
later.
future year. Is I really want to make some kind of like secret multiplayer, because then if they
Let's
ever, you know,
continue
if they
the
play
tour
these
to the
games
next room.
on stream, then you could sort of like mess with them
Yeah,
by having
almost
like a
journey
secret.
style.
You could,
Yeah.
yeah, like things
I
could
like how
happen
you
in
can
the
see the
game
bottom of
that
the
you're
world from here.
controlling, but it's not immediately apparent that there's any multiplayer connectivity. And I
For
think
some
that would
reason,
be
there's a maze in the space station.
like a sort
I'll
of
skip
a
you to the end to save some
a
time.
fun thing to do, but also who knows if it would like really work technically.
Bit of asynchronous stuff like with the Twitch streaming you got in yours, John. Have you?
In the original game,
Yeah,
the player
hopefully,
is supposed to stay in this jail
So,
and look at the
not
portrait of
100%
Jeffem for a
confirmed,
whole
but it
hour.
sounds like
I'll open the door now,
Ben Hansen
but you can
and
stay longer
company
if you
want to do a stream
this
again
next
this year
part,
showing
the
these
player
games
must
off as
step
well,
into the
so
beam
maybe
and
we'll get
die.
the
But a bug in the game
Twitch
causes
aspect of
something
mine
else
up and
to
running
happen.
for that, but always very exciting to see what they think about this stuff too.
The player floats upwards. This bug was actually
Oh,
left
actually, I
in the
guess
final version.
I'm sort
of
of
the
giving
game.
away my
I like
future
how from above
ideas
the
for
level, you
jams,
can see how
but I don't
much more
care because I
Jeffamans
probably won't
there
end up
were
doing them. I
than a
hope
player
someone
could
does
ever
it.
normally
Yeah,
imagine.
maybe.
What was the
Is
meaning of
that,
all these Jeffamans?
you know, you could almost have like the first ever digital MinnHax community
Hope you're
meetup
enjoying the museum.
as like a game, because when they
You're in
play it
for
on
a
stream, if it has
wonderful time. I
multiplayer,
wonder,
there could be like an
Yeah.
invite link on screen and everybody could jump in. And that's such a
Totally.
cool concept of like a spontaneous, like, but then of course, then you're dealing with like, you don't know how many people are going to join, and you'd really have to design the game well so that it's not, you know, there's not like too much demanding multiplayer stuff going on, but enough that people feel like they have some agency, like, so then that's like a design challenge, and there's some unknowns about like when are they going to play it and who's going to join, and
Knife Eat. This is my
are people
favorite
going to like
Jeffamans
spam it or something like that, then it would be like, it
Knife
wouldn't
Eat was a white-knuckle
work in
game
practice
show
or
that
something.
was sadly canceled before its time. Daring contestants would eat food precariously
All right.
off the blade of this
Do
very
you know
knife.
about how much
I'm
we
so
have
glad
here? I
this is
just
preserved here. Because everything
don't want
has
to
to be
take too
preserved.
much of people's time and don't want to give
Even
away the
you
whole
and
thing
I must be
necessarily if people
preserved.
want to go play it at home.
Let me show you why Knife Eat got
Are we
canceled.
pretty close to the end?
This is
or-
the, yeah, the
Oh.
final room is the next one.
Okay, great. Let's just go ahead and close it out here then. Let's kill Orby.
You will be forever a part of gaming history.
I'm assuming I don't want to get hit by the big beam. That's been my strategy so
Stand
far.
still and let me preserve you.
Yeah, this is sort of an illusion fight where like there's
Now
no
stand still.
risk to you at all yeah, whatsoever. It's
great.
just like,
But
which is
still,
kind of
it's-
funny. Like,
It's implied.
yeah, it still
and it makes
works.
you want to
'cause
play
nobody
around
knows.
it.
Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah.
you never,
I'm Orby the Fifth.
you don't want to like
Don't
test it
worry.
or something.
Not
So
that
then
you like
nobody,
previous
everyone
games.
just kind of acts as
Well,
if
that's it for the tour.
they need
Check
they
out
need
the
to
gift
dodge.
shop on your way out.
All right, let's check out the gift shop. Oh wow, we got a whole new wardrobe. Oh, beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was actually like I wanted to learn more specifically how to like correctly wrap like textures onto objects.
Yeah, totally.
And so those are actually like just screenshots from the videos of those shirts, and then like carefully wrapped on that geometry so that they like appear to look like a shirt.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe that's what someone should do next year is the multiplayer 100-meter dash. So we can
Oh, there you
finally
go.
get it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, we were Jeff from the whole time.
All along.
Love a good twist. All right, awesome. Thanks so much for making this. This was super cool.
Yeah, thanks. I want to say thanks for hosting the jam and these little community streams and stuff. This is a really great event.
Yeah, glad everyone had a good time with it. This is super fun for me too. And I think the most fun part for me is seeing the cohorts play it eventually. So when we get to that, that'll be awesome. All right, so that is our 13 submissions for MinnHax 2024. If you missed the first one, that's going to be up on YouTube. This one will be as well. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking these out with us, and thanks for all the devs who hopped up and talked us through their process. I think that's always a really fascinating part of it all. And yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully there's going to be some sort of official MinnMax stream playing through these things. And after that, we'll be hopefully seeing you all again next year for some more cool stuff. So this is going to be me ending the recording. Thanks, everybody.